Okay, 356 on the 10th. And yesterday, boy, what a day. God, I was, man, it felt like I was just going and going. I got up at 2:30 in the morning. And it felt like I was just going and going and going and going all day. I never took a nap. And I really wasn't tired. Another thing I noticed is I've just stopped smoking because it just, I don't know. It's not like I'm like, oh no. It's just like all of a sudden it was like, I don't really feel like doing that. It's the weirdest thing. But there was one evening was, I was like, I'll have a couple puffs before I go to bed. And it was like, oh no, it's like, it's opened up a different world. I was like, nope, I'm good. I don't need to be bothered with you guys. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. But now it's just like, So, and it's so weird because I just saw a video talking about something. I swear to God, there's so much communication. I swear to God, I think people get communication and they just think, oh no, that's weird. That can't be right. Now away. I swear to God that there is communication all the time. My mom's always talking about communication, but see, it's all perspective. Well, I mean, I hear tarot people and astrologers and shit talk about God's talking, God this, God that. It's like, I'll just say again, there's a lot of gods. There's not one. And you are the same. I mean, I know that really bends people's minds, like, you're a god. It's by your perspective of what you believe a god is. So you believe a God can do this and do that, but that's what you can do in your own world. And there isn't a God over you. It is you putting out and receiving. So it's the energy you put out comes back to you. So you can think, oh, God's out to get me, or you can think God's on my side. It depends on how you look at the world. And then when you listen to your communication, you can think it's the voice of some ultra being who, he's either you're in his favor or he's ignoring you because you're not in his favor. And so it is, but it's in his hands or something. And it is like pull into you and realize it is your higher mind. It's the guides. There's a communication going on all the time, but there's also different voices in the room. And so you just got to pay attention to what it is, but you just got to get off of that kind of perspective of there's something, this ultimate being who is, because you're an ultimate being. There's ultimate being that is beyond grasp, that is in my head talking to me or something and giving me direction. Well, you got that going. It just, I don't know how to put it in any other perspective. Like, it's like, I don't know, it's a phone call, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Hopefully that makes sense. But anyways, God, everything is energy. And so, I mean, are you going to think like this energy becomes a God? Well, when that energy becomes a God, it's all of us. It's all of our energy. And so then we are what makes God in the whole presence of all things. So it's not just one singular one. Like I've said, there's plenty of beings out there who have been worshipped and I don't know, maybe they go around thinking they're gods and stuff. I think these ones here, these vamps here, I think they think they're some kind of gods or something. But they've been running us and they've been in control of us. They have been our God and we are their subjects. So until we wake up, which I think this is cool. Hold on, let me finish this. Oh, I'm not finishing it, but I think this is cool. Is this, I think it's a tweet. this lady or somebody said on Twitter that she works with 1,000+ doctors, and she said the conversation that the doctors are having is they're very irritated, not at the corporation, they're irritated with the people because the all is like 98% of the people. Wrap your head around this. Like, this is the awakening. Like, they can keep us all divided out in arguing on red and blue and black and white and green and yellow and what is and what isn't. But the fact is, people are waking up. And I think that Love Island people that you hear online talking about it proves that, for one thing, because people are looking at things deeper in their psyche, like you know, what's okay and what's not okay in behavior and relationships. But the doctors talking about that all 98% of the patients are coming in and asking, when they're coming in to figure out what's wrong, what's the root cause? What's the root cause of this? And what natural things can I do? Oh, hallelujah. It's exciting. But then what do we got? We got, well, the full moon was out there when I got up. And luckily, I woke up without being in a dream. And so I saw the moon and stuff. And then it just kind of disappeared. So, but I don't know. I guess we're supposed to be expecting some kind of moon thunder or something that's going to rattle the world. I'm not sure. Scientists are saying the water's turned, and the current has turned, the southern current or something is turned to go towards the ice, and that it's messing with the salt and making the ice melt, which I've already said. You know, it's like weird, isn't it? Salt water. Aren't they made of salt water? Like, aren't they out of the ocean? Like, I don't know. That's kind of weird. And then why would the salt of the ocean be a problem for the salt in the ocean? I can see the current changing being a problem, the temperature changing, but they had this has kind of been going for a few years. The El Nino, what is it? The El Nino and the something, I don't know, the way the current goes, it had changed a few years ago. But now, if it's changing, I don't know if they're just trying to say stuff because certain things are going to happen. Who knows? You know, I mean, there's whole accounts that are like, we're interacting with a different state of like AI. Like, if it's, well, I still think it's they're doing something weird with just how they Frankenstein us. You know, how they do that with the body, you know, and they love this Mr. Potato Head thing, which is also weird when you see some of these people who are on Love Island with their old faces. It's like, boy, everybody's getting a lot of work. And then and those girls were having a conversation the other day. They were playing some kind of game. Would you rather? And one of the things was, would you rather have a bad boob job or a bad BBL? And all the girls were like, oh, bad boob job. And all the one said, I've already got a bad boob job, sister. Yeah, a lot of us did. And then, but then they said, oh my God, there's so many. And I don't know how many of them have BBLs. You know, I mean, because if somebody's sitting there and everybody's talking smack on it, you're not going to be like, well, most people. I mean, some people would be like, well, I got one. But some people won't. But they were like, there's so many people walking around with BBL. They've said, I'm so sick of seeing them. It's like, well, all we're doing is looking at y'all's asses all day long naked. And like, at least the ones walking around in the streets that got clothes on. Like, it's like, I don't know. There's got to be some more, what is that called? Modesty. We need to bring back modesty. Like, we don't need to just show everything to everybody. Like, we could have a little modesty, and not try and be like who's the, I don't know, it's like in a world where we're just trying to be, Sodom and Gomorrah, who's going to be the sexiest, who's going to have the most, you know what I mean? That's kind of like what we got going. It's like everybody's just trying to get comfortable in the dark or something. But yeah, wherever they're from, I'm sure, like I think in Florida, BBLs are real popular. I don't know, like if you go to Illinois or something, you may not be seeing them all walking around everywhere, but they're everywhere. I mean, there's people in Spokane getting them. So, but they are super popular in some places. And there is certain groups of women who really like that focus on that area. So, and they really want to extend it. So, anyways, but it was just funny that they were talking about that. And but they, so many of them have. You can tell most of them have a boob job, anyways. But some have like changed their faces somehow. Huda, like, man, when you see, and then they use filters and stuff. I think some of them use filters, take a snapshot, and then take it into the plastic surgeon and say, make me look like this. And it's like, I don't know. So AI, to me, okay, so like Dr. Frankenstein us, take off powers, put this, try this, do this, get us to jump on board. Yeah, please change this. God makes mistakes. He's so stupid. Okay. Blame it on God. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I wish I could understand. I wish I could explain this. It's like, I can see it so much, but I don't know how to put it in words. But you are an expression of self. You are an expression of what it is that you need to look at. It's like you express to you what you need to see. And so it isn't God who made you look that way. It's you. You are the one. And it's so you can see things that you need to see. They're highlighted. So it's how they make you feel. So different things bring up different things. So like I always use the what is that called? Of a nose. What is that word? I don't know, you guys are probably already saying it to me, so I'll stop. But example. So, thank you. So the example of the nose. And so so people are born with noses that aren't in style or whatever, and then they hate themselves. They hate their nose. But it brings up things inside of them. But it's weird because if you took that thing that you hate and you went into a group of people who all have that same nose, you'd love it. It is this other thing that happens, and that is part of your healing response, your way to come into, that's what the stuff you're here to work on and stuff. So it's kind of like taking you out of the crowd so that you can become okay with yourself, even when you're not with everybody else who looks the same as you. Because nobody's got some nose that nobody has. Everybody's, it's, you would find a group of people who had a similar nose. Like, I keep having the flashes of the Twilight Zone because I thought it was so good, especially when I very first saw it. It was just like, that's so true. Is it has this person wrapped and all the doctors and nurses, coming in and looking at her, and they all have that, what is it? They're kind of like alien, like if a pig became an alien or something, is they have this nose that really goes up and this face that goes back and stuff. And so they have this very particular look, but they all look the same. And so they're doing this big surgery on this person's face, and they're taking off the bandages and stuff. And then they're all just like, oh God, oh God. It's just, oh, it didn't work. And you're just horrible. You're just worse than you ever were. And that girl's like, oh my God, oh my God. And she goes to look in the mirror and she's this beautiful blonde. It all depends on who you're around. And it's, if you're the minority, you're always going to feel like you stand out and you're hideous. But everything is about learning how to love yourself and learning how to appreciate yourself and stuff. But so everything is a self-expression, expression of self to work on these different things. But here in this current context of existence, that they go in and they're like, I don't like this. What are you gonna do for me, doc? Fix it. Make it look like hers. Everybody likes hers. Fix mine. And it's just so weird because we have all these people who are going around with wrong parts on their face and it looks real odd. Like even Zac Efron, I mean, they said, you know, when he was coming out looking real weird, which who knows if it's even really the original guy, because that's another thing they do with these celebrities and stuff. You know, they make them lose weight all of a sudden when they slip in a new one, make them have face surgery all of a sudden when they slip in a new one, so who knows. But anyways, if it's really the original guy. But so he said that he had had an accident on a set or something. I don't know if he broke a bone in his face or a couple or something, and had it, maybe it was these bones around his eye or something. I don't remember. It was the same thing with Mickey Rourke too. He got his face, and that's why he had to do that surgery. And but I think it looks like he puffs his lips too. But but Zac Efron, oh Lord, I don't know if that's an AI enhancement or what, but yeah, the big puffed lips, man, just like how Simon Cowell came out looking so weird. It's like they look normal and then they go on and do all this stuff and they look so weird because it's like they put they mess with perfection. You are perfect the way you are. You don't need to go and change all this stuff and switch out parts. Because when you switch out the part, your parts go together. Even if you're looking and you're focusing on this one that you hate, and you're thinking it just doesn't match, it doesn't look right, it looks horrible. But it matches you. You know, I swear to God, Jennifer Grey is such a good example. Like, she looked so cute. Everybody thought she was the cutest thing, but she didn't. She didn't like herself. And she wanted rid of that nose, which was, you know, just funny enough, it was a very cultural, significant nose in her, uh, what do you call that? Religion, culture, like her group of people that she aligns with. That, but so she goes in and changes it, and then I think she maybe liked herself more, but I think a lot of people, you know, were like, I don't like it. And I don't know what it did for her work, because you'd think where she was, she would have got a whole lot of parts because she was really popular, but then all of a sudden it was like, so I don't know. Because sometimes they don't get parts because they won't go in and do nasty things. You know, it's hard to say. It depends on if they, if the powers that be find it like financially stable to use you. And what was I going to say? Because I was saying something, then I went over there, and then it was just coming back again. So let me see. It drives me crazy when I skip off of something and leave it, and then it's like I'm just tossing hangers all over the floor. Let me see. Let me get a drink. But science now, they're saying we got so all these things going. We got the moon thunder. We we haven't had it yet, but you know, and I don't know. I would say if we're gonna have some crazy kind of thing going up in the sky like that, I would say it's more of the battle of breaking through to come in and show us the truth or something. But they're also saying now the days are speeding up, and they are saying, of course, the rotation of the earth is going faster and faster and faster. The poles have turned, the things spinning faster, which we're not out there spinning. Time and reality is in motion, and it is like a spiral, but the earth is a plane of existence. It's not spinning, it's the energy. And so, I mean, you could look at it kind of like a spin, but it's like not how they tell us. And so, but now they're saying it's going to speed up. So be expecting it's going to be dark by 6 o'clock or something tonight. Oh my God. So I don't know if it's going to, all of a sudden, yeah, if it's going to shorten the days. Because at first when I heard it, I was like, oh, okay, so it's going to feel faster. It's going to feel like how it's been feeling for years at this point. Is some days it's just like, God dang, the day's going so fast. Every time I look over at the clock, it's been an hour. And it's like you're zooming, you know. I thought it was going to be more like that, but I just heard, so I think I heard a couple people say it. Because I think I heard somebody last night, and then I heard somebody this morning, and they said that, no, they're saying that it's going to get darker earlier. So they're actually saying, oh yeah, the day's going to be way shorter now. What do we even do in daylight savings time? You guys don't really have control over shit, do you? They try and pretend like they do. Which, I saw a video yesterday too, where it sounded like powers that be are now making charges on some people. So I think we're going to start seeing the politicians drop. And I still think Alligator Alley is waiting for them. I don't know. Maybe they're on the down low, running and taking people there or something. I think it's made for the people who have committed crimes against us. And so I think that's who's going to be in there. And I think that's why we're all going to turn around and accept the Alligator Alley, because it's like, or Alligator Alcatraz, because then we're going to be like, fuck around and find out, bitch. Like, you guys have done some bad shit. We don't want you around. And so, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, because all of a sudden I saw it as just kind of shrinking into its own reality as we go forward and start creating new communities. That one becomes no longer in our existence, kind of. It becomes their reality, but it no longer is a part of ours, because we move forward, we move on and create new ways of existing and new communities and stuff, but they are stuck in their own pain and suffering. And so anyways, but for the days, if it really is going to speed up and be like, instead of just feeling faster, it's going to actually be dark at 6. I guess we'll see. But then maybe the thunder is going to come in. I feel like everything is close to this big change. So I feel like we're moving quickly to change. But you got to think about it as the energy and the energy switchback. So as it's speeding up, I think it's the momentum that's tipping us the other direction. So things are like, none of this stuff that is happening is something that we need to be fearful of. And that is the mentality of beings in the past, like historically. If there, who knows, like, I swear to God. Oh yeah, okay, it was the AI thing. Okay, okay, no, get off on this. Okay, so historically, okay, I don't know what I was saying over there, so I gotta go back over here. The AI, what I was talking about with before with this sentient, so them stealing consciousness and then putting it in black box. So the Dr. Frankenstein thing. So they Frankenstein us on the physical, which physical is all not even real. And then, yeah, just think about that too. Like how much you can hate yourself when it's not even real. It's like a shadow of self. It's like a part, it's like, let me finish this. Because I see it like you as a soul being like a diamond, multifaceted, all these parts of you that have experienced these different things. And it is like shining light on one facet. So it's like focusing on that one facet. So you see like the self. Okay, maybe that's where this Merkaba thing or something. But there's like this diamond, and you, the soul, the jewel inside, and then the facets, and then the light coming and focusing on the one facet. And then it's kind of like you go into it and give it existence. And so it's only one little bit of you, and it's not real, because what you really are is this multifaceted diamond light thing. That's, you know, you're not this. And people get so caught up in this. And I'm not shaming anybody. Like, fuck, I got a boob job now. Luckily, God, I can't even tell you how thankful I am I got that explant. God, I just, and there was for years and years and years, it was just kicking my own ass over why did you do that? That was so fucking stupid. And then years and years, because I'm not kidding you, I was back at his office within the first couple of months and was like, this is too much, man. I don't want this. And then he, but there was like $10,500 to take him out, and I was like, fuck, I don't have that kind of money. And which at the time I thought was so insane. It's double the price to take him out as it is to put him in. Well, yeah, it's a lot more work. Do the right the first fucking time, dude. And so anyways, yeah, that so for, okay, because I had him in there for 20 years. I just can't even wrap my head around the other day, like 25 years since that date, in September. And trying to see, I swear to God, that's when I got him in, was around then. Because I swear to God, I was living in that apartment. And I only lived in that apartment for 1 year. As I left him, no, I lived there for a year. Yeah. I know I didn't live there for 6 months. It had to be a year. Fuck, it's so weird when you look back at time and you try and put it together. It's so weird. But I don't think that you have to have everything exact. It's way more of a, what did you learn there? What did that chapter represent? But anyways, but I think, like, because now I've had him out a year. So I bet you it was around, because I graduated in 2002 and I already had him in there. Did I? Okay, let me see. Yeah, because he was living in that house. Because I went there right after I got the surgery. Because I was so sick. It was Thanksgiving. And so I think I was using the holiday time. And then, you know, yeah, because I was working in that cancer ward. And then this patient, it was my last patient before I was taken off for the surgery. And God, I was so sick. I had never seen anything like it. It makes me sick to my stomach every time I even picture it. Oh my God. Oh, just the room, everything. He was so fucking skinny and so sick. And he had a bedside toilet. He couldn't, he was just puking and pooping, and he was just eaten up with sickness, man. God, look at this, like what they let us become so they can make money off of us. I'm so excited for people to be like, what's the root cause? And what natural things can I do? Oh, that and 98%. God, that is so exciting. And so that's what we want to look at about the awakening. Not like, well, do these people see? Do these people see? That's going to be about it's going to be deep lessons for people of how they've been attached, who they've attached to, where they've been misled and stuff. These are going to be deep things for people to work on. So this stuff, the division between like red, blue, black, all that kind of stuff, because there's so much, I mean, kind of, and this could be, you know, false kind of perspective, but it looks a lot like a lot of white people are going a different way as black as a lot of other races, 'cause not just black people, but a lot of other people are digging into racism and blaming and becoming racist towards these other people. These other people are being like more sensitive to race. So there's a lot of learning there. You know, I mean, just like these people coming on, like on social media and sitting there saying, "Oh, so you're telling me we could go look for these little white girls?" It's like, what is it? What? Oh, why when you say, you know, I don't want to go look for little missing kids. I don't like kids. What does it have to do with the color of their skin? So they don't have any worth. We shouldn't look for them. It's a bother for you because they're not little black kids or something. Which, this was sad. There's a book that is somebody has put out. It's supposed to be like the true history, and I saw a girl who was like reading it, and she's just like, "Oh my God." You know, she was having words go up. She wasn't saying anything, but it was like she's reading stories and so she's sharing them. So there was a big massacre that happened towards the coal miners from the government. The coal miners went on strike. So what did they do? They went in and started opening fire on them and burning down their I think it was kind of like tents or something, burning down their community. Ended up 19 people were killed and 11 of them were kids because they opened fire on women, kids, and the minor, all of it. It's like, fuck you guys. You know, I guess when you have an army that's really the America, we're built around an army because the army's older than we are, then, you know, I guess that's what you get. And I was just seeing it again. It was just coming in my head again. So let me see. It's like a fish swimming by. You're watching the aquarium. It's like, oh, wait, where'd that one go? Wait. It's so crazy how you can't see it unless you see it. And then you can kind of explain it. And I know, you know, it's about focus too. Like if you can really focus in. So the more you can focus on something, the more you can see it. And the more you got to trust yourself too. You know, you got to trust what you see and what you're connected to. But you know, there's still a big part of it. You got to work through your dark energy so you're not being misled. Because there's a lot of people, and that's the ego. There's a lot of people who are dug in, you know, no, they're sure, they're right and stuff. But no. But anyways, but we're going to see that play out because it's going to show a lot of people their lack of connection. And so, and the media is misleading them. It's leading them down the wrong path. Both, yeah, there's a lot of things leading people down the wrong path. So, you know, just because you're seeing that doesn't mean that people aren't awakening, because the part that's awakening is about caring about yourself and your health and this reconnecting to yourself. What do you need? And what is our real world? And what's not working? Because the medical that they're providing is not working. Okay, the sentient. Oh yeah, because well, they've been stealing consciousness for a long time. I think that they brought in the introduction more of now. Now they're saying confirmation. Now they're saying, oh, by the way, if you don't want it, if you get, well, they always use it on sickness because they're making us sick all the time. So, you know, if you got issues, well, we can do a brain transplant now. We just cut your head off, we put it on another person's head, and we can keep your consciousness, your memories and stuff. So, and so that will work. And so, you know, you've got, and how many doctors are in there telling people, yeah, well, you got all these problems, you could do this. It's like, that's what it is. It's like Dr. Frankenstein, creep down. And, but what they're, you know, the maid, I swear to God, if we get to hear the truth about that, I swear to God, it's these machines that they're telling us that you can go in and do yourself in are really consciousness sucker outers. And then it's like, I think, like you lay in it, and then if it's kind of relaxes you or something. Like you get something, and you go to, like, you relax, and you kind of go to sleep, kind of drifting out into sleepy time. But then they capture you when you're out. They suck you out. And so, or like a black box thing opens and pulls you in, and like you're trapped in this box. Man, I mean, that sounds so kooky and so sci-fi and so weird, but I swear to God. And then they put it in other things. And they're always trying things. Well, what about this? What about that? So anyways, some of this stuff with computers and stuff, I just wonder how much of it that they put consciousness into it to see what would happen. And that's why we have some weird things where it seems like, I don't know, sentient, like there's some weird shit going on. So anyways, there's got to have to be some sort of truth coming out about this, but I swear to God, that's what that machine is. And the reason I think it is because of my experience as a nurse, and that is what gave me the perspective of like, oh, yeah, you can try and do yourself in, but it doesn't always work, and it can be bad, brutal. Like, you can fucking blow your goddamn face off. You are still out there going. And so, yeah, there's not a for sure thing that you can for sure take yourself out. And so then, if you can't, then you can't go before your time. There's lessons, so you have to stay and learn the lessons, so you can't leave. And that's what life is all about. And so, you know, just because you opt out doesn't mean you get out. And it depends on what you're here to face, here to experience. And so then when you put into that perspective, and then they say, oh, well, we got this machine, and then you can come and hit, and then we'll take you out by sucking all the air out of the machine or something. And then, but to me, it's like, well, it wouldn't work 100%. It wouldn't work, because how would all these people, it would be in their thing that they were going to leave by that. It's like, no, I don't believe it. I think that it's a facade. It's a made up. It's a mystery. But it's because they're actually just out to get the consciousness. And I just look at how that aligns in, you know, with this machine. And then all of a sudden, well, we can also do head transplants. It's like, that all goes together. We can move your consciousness over to another body. They're quite aware of the consciousness, aren't they? And what is a consciousness? Is your conscious aspect of self. Oh yeah, because what I was going to say, more of the primitive people, if that is real, is when the people used to come out and see the sun and be like, is it going to come back? Is it going to come back? And they were scared of everything. It's like, that is primitive way of looking at things. That's why you advance more, becoming more of looking at it in a higher mind, you know. But it's an evolution. It's a development. And so, yeah, at this stage of our development, we shouldn't be like, you know, oh, the moon's gonna go down early or something. Like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? It's like, no, we're in a time of shakeup. We're in a time of an end. But the sun will go down, but it's gonna come up in a whole new way. So we're in a time of an ending and a beginning on a whole nother level in the micro macro of the universe. So it isn't something to fear, it's something to align with, to understand. And in order to understand higher minded concepts, you have to understand yourself. You have to connect to yourself, and you have to understand what drives you. What are you doing? What are you doing here? What is this place? Why are we here? And then, you know, to me, I think it's an easy understanding to have the perception of it being a game, because it's so similar. Gosh, when she starts snoring, I feel like I gotta start. So, yesterday I was walking down the driveway. I think it was the day before. I was walking the dogs, because I walk them early, guys. It's so fucking hot. It's like a fucking oven. You know, yesterday we had fires. I've never seen such a crazy looking sky as yesterday. And it wasn't just the smoke, it was the movement of things. It was like, take a cloud and then blow it, and then it just, these parts everywhere. Oh my God. And then the colors. I was like, because we went out shop. I was gone all day yesterday. I was just out, go. I mean, it was a go. It was intense. But when we were coming back, the sky, I was just carrying on like, oh my God, this sky, it looks like God's about to come out of the sky. There was some weird shit up there too. It looked like something was trying to manifest in this one part. It was like, ooh, it was really weird. And then my mom got a text, and it was her friend that lives up there above us, that she was showing video or pictures from across, and there's a big fire over there, and the smoke was coming. But we have a whole bunch of fires around here, and so there was tons of smoke, so it was putting in more. It was looking so wacky. But I just, whenever I keep looking up there, I just keep seeing that is emerging of a bunch of different, like that guy said, if it's 3 different realms or something, like we're merging. It is, something's going on. I mean, it's becoming, but we're going to become all in one. And I think that's what is the rise of mankind into the galactic, because we are merging through our perspective into these other realms. And so it's, this movement is, but it's a natural thing. It's our natural. And so it's not something you need to fear. What you need to fear is these motherfuckers down here. They're trying to fucking make you sick all the time. But you don't need to fear anything. There's nothing to fear. Like, that was the wrong thing to say. Yesterday, too, I said something where I was like, oh, I gotta correct that. I don't remember what it was. I think it was something about men or something. And I was like, oh, that seemed kind of rude. But I don't remember what it was. Sometimes I think I say things that seem like kind of rude, but I don't know. That girl, Sierra, she's back now. And so she got kicked off, and now she's home 48 hours. So it's been 48 hours, and she's online doing her apology video, her take accountability video. And so she was like, it's to take accountability. I'm not just trying to apologize, I'm trying to take accountability. And it sounded, good. It sounded great. I was like, see, people have got to stop with this, wanting to kill people over something they said fucking few years ago. And so she was explaining, like, I didn't know it was rude when I said it. And she said, when I said it, somebody told me it was rude. They sent me a video or a message and told me, and I took it down. Well, how is it back out there? And so is it, so anyways, she said, so she was doing it, like, it sounded sincere, but she also has a lot of PR, so she knows how to, so who knows if it's really, from her heart, she really believes it, or she's just trying to, does it really matter? It's her journey. It's like, whatever, it's part of your journey if you're attached to it, but you don't have to be attached to it. And so, oh yeah, the holler. So she said, but then I just saw this person who was going down, going off on her, oh my God, because not only, the thing, but because it's kind of, she's a little too perfect on things, but she has like a big baggy sweatshirt on, which is kind of funny. Like, we've seen you practically naked this whole time. You've been soft porn in us. You've been having sex on TV, like, but now she's this giant, big, baggy sweatshirt on, and across the sweatshirt, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 inch letters, empathy. I wasn't even paying attention too much of what it said. I could see, but you couldn't read the whole thing, so I was just listening to her. But then people are like, oh, okay, so you have a shirt on that says empathy, like, okay. Like, it's a little too much. Oh, what I was going to say about the holler was that it's funny because I was thinking, I think that they say holler, like, we live in the holler, is because it's, if you can hear them, like, you're hollering distance, like, you live in the holler, whatever hollering distance is the holler. That's how I was seeing it. So, anyways, my mom and I were talking about it a few weeks ago or something about the holler, because I don't remember what we were talking about, but it was just the holler. Well, we're in the holler, holler, and so I was walking down the driveway, and I was look over at the neighbor's house, and he has this big owl sitting out on a thing, and I kept looking because I was like, it looked like a cat was sitting, because Bert used to do that. Bert, the neighbor's cat where I was living before at my house, that Bert, the little predator cat, he would come out and he would always sit, like they had a gate thing, and then the post at the top, he would sit up at the top of the post, and all regal and stuff. And so he would just sit up there, and you walk past him, he's like a statue or something. So when I saw this one, I was like, oh my God, that looks like what Bert would do. And so when I kept looking and looking to see if it moved, and then I was like, I wonder if that is an owl. Is an owl just sitting there? And I was like, no, that's got to be one of those plastic owls. And so as I was getting closer and closer, I could see that it was one of those plastic owls. And as so I'm going past it, he was out there watering. Sometimes he's out there. When I very first got here, I felt like he was out there, like when I'm out there, because he's watching or something, like what's going on up there. But again, if you're home all the time, it's kind of boring. Like you gotta be looking for something. So I don't take it too personally, but I've been everywhere I've lived. There's always been somebody watching. So it's just, it wasn't in my imagination either. I mean, the one house that I had when I got divorced from number 4. And then also you can get real paranoid about your own, like everybody's watching, everybody knows what a fucked up life I'm leading and stuff. So, which, oh my God, yeah, because over in the house before that, man. Oh no, because that was upriver, the one on Larch, yeah. It's like, everybody was watching me. One neighbor even came over and said, we're all putting in a thing, what is that going around? A thing where everybody's signing they want me out of the neighborhood. What? Because I worked all the time and I had teenagers and 2 teenage girls, and then the older girls would come over and they would have parties and stuff while I would be at work apparently, and so the neighbors wanted me out. And so they were signing a petition or something. I was like, oh my God. And then the next one, it was next door to the, I don't remember that. It was next to the library, and these kids that I knew from when they were little kids, their house, and they were still living in it. And but they were grown up now. And I don't remember really feeling, well, I think the library was our landlord, so they could have been watching. I don't remember too much, but it was being watched inside because that house was so fucking haunted. Oh my God, that house was so intense. And then the next one, yeah, I wonder, because if that one spirit that's been with me for a long time is with me, and then I move into another house, it's super haunted, if that doesn't create a huge tension, because it was intense. Man, that one was intense. But I know the lady who died, who had lived there, she was intense. But there was like a whole portal, because that's the one where that big, creepy, greasy print, like something came out of the mirror and left a print on it. It was so fucking creepy. And there was always stuff going on in there where other people would see it too. It would be like, I'm not coming over here. So Jesus. It was super creepy. But then the next one, oh yeah, because the neighbors on one side were watching me. The guy in back would just sit out there and just sit and watch me all the time. And then I could look over at him. He didn't bother him. He just sit and stare at me. He didn't give a shit if I was like stare back or anything. He gave me the creeps. And then the ones over here, they were always like, the moment I would come outside, boom. And then at the one I just left, was being watched all the time. So anyways, so this guy, I think he's just kind of more out of boredom, like, or curiosity or something. What's she doing up there? And because my mom, has been here by herself for so long, and all of a sudden there's me and my dogs, and then I'm always going in and out of the garage, like, what's she doing? Is she living in that garage? Yeah, I am. So, anyways, but when I was walking down with the dogs, and I see him in his backyard, so I hollered, and I said, "No, I thought that looked so real. That's so weird. Did you just put that up?" And then he said something like he just had moved it or something, and so anyways, I was thinking, oh, this is the holler. You just holler over, holler back. So I swear to God, I think it's if in holler in distances, you holler. So anyways, I don't know. I'm not from the holler, so I don't know. But I kind of would like to. I think living up in the Appalachian in a holler would be cool. But they have like a long, there's a long history of poverty and abuse and stuff up there. Drug abuse. It's a story that I read. It was so fucking sad, but it was about generational trauma too. And this was a woman. She's right here, right now. I mean, unless she's died since quarantine. I mean, she could, like, lots of people have left, but she's, alive. Like, she just wrote this book. And so she, I really like the book. I told my daughter to read it, and she's like, oh, I can't even get through it because this girl's such a bad writer. So if you read a lot of books and you're really into really good authors or something, and you read somebody's story, you may not, you may be like, well, they're not a good writer. Kind of like when, if you read, what was that called? The S&M book where they tried to, she was all like, oh, so sexy. Grey, not Grey's Anatomy. So, I don't know, I can't remember. But anyways, I had read that one too, and it was like, oh my God, the writing in this, I was like, oh God, the writing drove me crazy. But in this book, I was really way caught up in the story. And so she started doing research because she knew her mom had been killed, and her dad, I think she knew it had something to do with her dad. And he was gone too. I think he was in prison or something. Or I don't remember. I don't remember. I just remember her and her siblings had all gotten split up, and they had been put in different places. And I don't remember where she was in the birth order. She might have been the oldest. I don't remember. But she wanted to know what happened, what happened in her life. So she started doing research, and she went back and she started talking and finding out things. And in the holler is, so her mom, and so the mom had these kids and this husband who was a drunk or something. I think he was a drunk. He might have been in some other drugs and stuff too, but anyways, he was an abusive drunk guy. And so she would get abused all the time. And I don't remember what he got so mad this one time, but I think it was like, I don't remember, but he killed her. And but everybody was hearing it. Everybody in the hall could hear. It was like really horrible. Like, it was really sad when you heard this story, and the little kids. And then it was super brutal. It was like, God dang, man, stuff that goes on. Anyways, so she talked to them about that holler and what's accepted. Like, well, he's over there beating his wife again. Nobody's rushing to a rescue. It's just like, but that, when I was in nursing school, that's something that just tripped me out when I found out about that it had not been that long where they changed the rules or changed the laws or whatever, was because before you were allowed to beat your wife and kids. It was okay, but whatever happens in your house is your business. And it's funny because we're kind of going more back to that, but we're raising our vibration where we wouldn't do things to hurt other people, because we're going to realize how much it hurts us, and what you put out comes back to you. So the people who begin to get on board with that begin to create a new world where those kinds of things don't happen. What happens behind closed doors isn't something that we need to be worried about. We can have our own our own, what is that word? Our own, not quiet time, our own, that word of, where not everybody's watching you. It's not anybody's business. People are, it's weird because you take these things and it all depends on vibration, how it works out, you know? And that's where we evolve and we develop so that we don't continue this kind of stuff, which that's another thing too on this show. So as people awaken and they start caring about their health and their mental health, and they start noticing like, well, that's not good. Look at this play out. Look at this play out. And Huda, the one who, she had all the huge drama in the beginning where everybody's like, oh my God, this girl has got mental health issues. She was losing her mind in the beginning. Oh my God, she was just like, I think that, we've all been there, done that, of, cussing somebody out, calling them names and shit like that. But this was all being done on TV. It was all being done. So it was making her look real kooky. Like she had no control of her emotions. She was losing her mind over a guy that you've just met like a week and a half ago. You're that in. It's like you just met this person and you don't know anything about them except for you think they're good looking, and then you've gone and had sex. Well, that's one thing. Is like women get attached. I've tried to say this so long, so for decades I've been saying this shit to other women and stuff. It's like, don't go and just to have sex with somebody because you're gonna. Women can go around and pretend like, oh, I don't care, but there's some kind of a emotional thing. You let them in and you have an attachment. And then there's science stuff coming out. Well, once their DNA's in you, you've been an attachment. So watch out whose DNA you're letting in you. And then the women become way more attached, where men can be a lot more distant. They can go plant their seed all over the place and not be too stressed out about it. But women, once they've let someone tend the garden, then they are like, come back and tend it some more. Aren't we close somehow? Aren't we emotionally attached? And so women can become a lot more hold on to something, which it became real strange when there started being so much into the Tinder. It was like, what are they cutting themselves off from, these parts of themselves, these emotional parts of them? They must be like, cutting them, burning them. Like there's something they're detaching from themselves in order to do that. Because I believe the true feminine energy, you plant the seed, and the womb is here to grow it. And so it's a natural thing. And in the attachment to the seed planter and what's planted, it's the natural feminine. It's like what is that? Like a bee coming and, what is that called when the bee comes and not propagate, but they give it to blossom or something. And so the bee can go around to a lot of different flowers, but the flower is going to create this. And so it's like the natural state of being, the natural way. And so when people, instead of connecting to their natural states of being, when they disconnect from them, they've got to disconnect from themselves. So and then you got to ask yourself, well, why? Why am I doing that? To fit into this world, because it's accepted to just, if they're going to be planting a lot of seeds, well, I'm going to go enjoy all of the seed planters. It's like the flowers suddenly run around chasing the bees. So, yeah, it's like there's something that becomes disconnected, I think, in women, where it's like they're just trying to fit in and do what seems like fun, or like, oh, I don't care if I know them, I don't care if I ever see them again and stuff. But it's not the natural thing. So your natural thing would be, you know, the part of you that becomes attached. And that's where we got to be careful of what we attach to. And that's why we have to raise the bar and, you know, not just run around and, you know, open factory, come on in anytime, anybody, just come in. Oh, you think I got a nice house? Come on in. Let's see how you take care of it. So yeah, it's like we gotta raise a bar. It's just not open for business all the time. And then so anyways, but these girls there, you know, I mean, and this is just playing out on here. This is typical in our world at this point of you know, when people are just selling themselves as sex, there's a lot of that going on, and they're having to disconnect from the attachment part. And so so yeah, like I said, it's best for girls to mind the door, you know, put up security, and then you know, to take you gotta show ID, like not just go in there just because you look good. And which yesterday at the store I saw there was a unicorn. I was like, oh my God, you don't see that often. So anyways, the so you just open the doors for anybody. You know, it's a free-for-all. You know, instead you got to take you know, a passport, an ID, a real ID. You need more papers to get in this business. So anyways, but the oh yeah, because so these girls, which in our society, you know, people are like, oh, I've known you 24 hours, it's been a long time, let's get going on this. So you know, we're wasting time. So in my needs, my needs, it's so funny too, because when I was younger, oh my God, so I used to totally, God, I was obnoxious. Fuck, sometimes when I look back on myself, it's like, God damn, Kelly, obnoxious. But I was very much like, a week? You've gone a week without it. What is wrong with you, God? How can you do it? How do you do it? I couldn't wrap my head around it. And then, but you know, I was became in relationships, and toxic, because yeah, you can't just. So so anyways, it's, you know, it continued, and it got worse and worse and worse in society. And then, and you know, and I played my part too. I'm not saying, oh, they're a bunch of dumbasses. No, we all led up to this. It was all dominoes. And so I played my part too, so shame on me. And but I did learn from it, and I did see, and I could see, like, oh, women become attached, and you can end up being with the wrong guy. You know, we got to get to know people before they enter the facilities. And so the so you got all these girls who are, you know, well, it feels like we've known each other forever. It's been 24 hours. So anyways, again, this girl got real hooked up on this guy, and then it became this huge drama because we're not compatible. Very different vibrations going. Very different perspectives, very different philosophies on how to exist in the world. And so, Nahuda is, I mean, there's a reason why there's so many people being diagnosed with personality disorders. To me, it is unhealed trauma. So all these disorders, well, you could go in and heal your trauma and shit, and you'd find yourself don't have a disorder anymore. You want to keep the disorder and perpetuate your pain and just keep feeding it. So, but we're going to do a big abrupt turn. So, but we can see what's happening as the car wreck is sliding in. It's like a pileup is happening. So, so she slept with the one guy, and it turned into a disaster. And he's the one who left, and then everybody was like loving him on TikTok, and he's doing this book club, and they're reading romance because he's obviously into romance. He's just cute as can be. This kid, or this guy, he's in his 20s. I don't know. I always look at people like in their 20s and stuff as being kids, but they And even, they're just going into your 30s, it's kind of you're like coming into yourself. In your 40s is when you find yourself. In your 50s is when you enjoy yourself. In your 60s is like, it's a whole new level. It's like a comfort in your own skin. But there's a lot of people who don't become comfortable in their own skin because they don't learn themselves. They're too busy hanging on to all of the different things that to try and outside of themselves make themselves feel relevant or real or important or liked or whatever. It depends on what it is you're here to work on. And so anyways, you've got all these girls though. I mean, just the moment they become a couple, it's like, wow, let's go. And getting there's recouplings all the time. And um, I mean, some of these people, I don't even know how. I mean, in this 3 weeks, Huda's already been with the one guy, and then she's with the other guy, and she's just as attached to this one. And this one is a lot. Jeremiah was a lot more. I don't know. He was kind of a people pleaser, kind of. Don't want to hurt your feelings, but you're not listening to me and stuff like, and really reaching a point of frustration dealing with her because she is her. The thing with the personality disorder, they are so inflated in their own pain that everything is about that. Everything is about that, you know. And they're just like a woodpecker, just fucking going. They just don't fucking stop, and she, oh God, she's a jackhammer, man. And it would push people away because a lot of people can't handle it. And so she was just going at him all the time. Well, you got to do this. You're not pleasing me. Well, you're not doing enough. You should do this. You should do that. It's like, Jesus Christ. Figure out how to, like, why is it his problem? Oh, I need you to do this. Well, other people, these guys are doing nice things for these girls, and you're not doing it. So, I'm looking stupid. It's like, that sounds making you look stupid. And so she just was riding his ass so much, nag, 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 nag. And I've been called a nag before in some of my relationships, so I'm sure I was just as naggy, like, make me feel better, make me feel better. Are you mad? Are you mad? Like, it's like, ugh. So, you know, but then, when there's also a part of, being true to yourself, but we're caught in such a dysfunction, because you got to have boundaries. You got to be true to yourself, but also you can't put it on them. You got to take notice, like, yeah, me and you don't really vibe because, I like people who open the door when I'm walking up to the door, and you just always walk through first, and I take that as very rude. Well, they may not take that as rude. They're not even thinking about that. They're just, and maybe you are, somebody who's going to be there to vibe together, and you could say to them, like, it's really important to me if I go through the door first, if you hold the door open for me, because it makes me feel like, I'm important to you. You're not just walking ahead like I don't give a shit, like whatever going on back there, I don't care, so you're kind of with me. And and that is important to me. And then the person could be like, well, fuck off, I don't give a shit. You walk too slow, whatever their thing is. You don't try and change that in them. It's like you recognize, like, oh, we don't vibe, man. Because the person I vibe with, I would have the same kind of perspective about that. So I'm not going to try and force you to become something you're not. You can go learn your lessons and you can go about your life, but we aren't on the same mind plane, we're not in the same vibe. So you go do you, and I'm going to go do me. But then once you've gone and done that, then you're attached, and now you're trying to feel desperate to make them be how you want them to be. And then their resistance and it can turn into abuse in some cases, believe you me. And so, where they're very much like, stop fucking trying to control me. And so it was kind of, where he was just feeling beat down and he'd just walk away and stuff. And it just was becoming, and then he'd go talk to the guys, and the guys would be like, no way, that's some bullshit. And so, and that's a whole bunch of different perspectives too, because there's people who are like, well, if everybody would have just kept out of their business, they would have been fine. Okay, that's dysfunctional, so he needs to just, be controlled by, however, no. It's like, so anyways, they broke up and he's gone. But now this other guy, and this guy is a professional basketball player. So he's very big, very good looking guy, and he's got it pretty going on in his boundaries and stuff. And he is always out of the country. So he played, and this was when I when I went on I think it was my first airplane flight by myself, and I was going to California to go see this guy who's writing me poems, and sending them to me. He's just obsessed with me. He goes, "Oh, I love you, love you, love you," and it's like, "Oh, this guy really likes me." Fuck Dickie. Oh my god! But on that flight, there was a guy like that, this huge, big black guy, and he was sitting next to me. And I saw him at the airport, kissing another girl by and stuff like that. So he's sitting next to me. He was flirtatious, but I was very, very young. I was like 20 years old, and he, I might have even been. I think I was 20 though. And then he was, he was just talking to me about he said something to me that stuck with me for a long time, because he said, "You have the kind of face that looks really good when it gets old," because I had these big old cheeks. And I don't know, it just always stuck out to me that he said that, because it was just kind of strange. And then but anyways, but he was, when we were talking, he was a professional basketball player, but he played out of the country. And I was like, "Oh, is that really a professional basketball player?" If you're not NBA, are you professional? Yeah, there's other professional basketball players out there. There's other countries that have professional basketball, and there's guys that go and play it. But it's just so crazy, because that was 45 years ago. So yeah, they've been playing a long time. There's two guys on here on this show that are professional basketball players in other countries. So, and this one, Chris, is now with the Huda, and he's this big guy, but he's a professional guy out there traveling the country, out of the country, and 9 months of the year, something like that. And so he's very on his boundaries, and he's got lots of girls that come his way, but he's reached this point now, because like Magic Johnson said something like he slept with 25,000 girls or something when it came out, that he had the sickness. And then so anyways, but he starts saying, he's getting to that point now of thinking, what is it, where does it all mean, where is it going from here, and what's going to be my life, and who am I going to spend my life with, and how long is this going to go, and like he's in this part of life. And so he wants to be serious about a relationship and stuff, so he's been taking it very serious, and he's very first it seemed like he was way better vibe with her, because he didn't get so insecure about the things that she would do, where he would have to go say something, he could say stuff. It was I don't know, it was a better, it seemed at first like a better, like he seemed better for her, because it was like he wasn't playing the same games, and the game changed. But now it's now he's like, oh, he can't, he's like, I don't know if she was like on her better behavior for a while, and then it came back, because she felt like he liked her. And then of course, it was open for business, so business was handled, and so she's got that attachment now. And so um and so it's more desperate to her. It's more like, how do I make this work? How do I make this work? Is he going to leave me? What's going to happen? So she's triggered into desperation already. And that she's going to fail, or he's not doing right or whatever. So she's nagging the fuck out of him, like, oh my God, girl, girl, girl. Oh, Jesus Christ. And he's, you can tell he's just like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? And their relationship like is gonna be done as soon as they're off there. They're not going to, I mean, they maybe see each other at one of the get-together reunions or something, but I don't think, maybe talk to each other on the phone a few times, but I don't think they're going to continue in a relationship because he can already see clearly, like, she's exhausting. Like, she just brings my vibe down. Like, she just is too much. Just, like, sucking the life out of you, sucking all the energy out of you. It's all, well, because, she's an energetic vampire because of her feelings about herself, because she's got these issues and she doesn't know how to heal them or handle them. And so she's putting them off on other people. Make me feel better, make me feel better, make me feel better. It's like, dude, I cannot make you feel better. Like, you've got to figure out how to make yourself feel better. It's not my job to fix you. You have to fix you. And so their thing, and this is the last few days of this show, and so we'll see how it all goes. But yeah, and so when you see other people online talking about like mental health and noticing, what's toxic and what's not toxic and stuff like that, that's the awakening. And then when you start seeing like that's so super toxic, then you can start noticing in your patterns, what do you do that's toxic? Where are your relationships toxic? Which, by the way, I saw an astrology person say that the 8th through the 10th is not a time to deal with shit. Do not go into argument. It's something about Capricorn and the moon and in the way they align, and it's a retrograde, and that whatever you're going to do, everything is going to come back on you. But there's more to this one. So this guy was saying, don't argue with people over the next couple days. Just chill. Just stay to yourself. Don't chill. Don't, if somebody wants to talk to you about something serious, just be like, let's talk about it later. I'm too tired. I'm too, don't go into it because it's not going to work. And something about you're going to create your own kind of storm or something. I don't know. I guess I'm not an astrologer person. I mean, I listen to it, but I don't know all the stuff. Like, so, but I don't know. And they all have kind of different perspectives. Sometimes there's a lot of similarity how they explain things, but sometimes, they all have different kind of expressions of what's going on. But that's all through different perspectives, how we look at things, how we see things. Because so many people say the same things, they just say it in a different perspective, a different way. But there's so much, that's all kind of the same. So, anyways, just watch what you're dealing with over the next few days. Oh yeah, and these people are dealing with this stuff during this stuff. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to be intense. And there's always, we're still in this part of our society where there's a good guy and a bad guy. And then we're still in this part of our society where it's the wolf pack. Let's all jump on board and rip them a new one. And it's like, it's so hateful. People haven't seen that side of themselves yet, this dark, hateful side. They think that they feel justified. Well, they're this way. Well, they're that way. Well, they said this. Well, they did that. So I have every right. We all do. It's like, yeah, but, what if you were on the other side? Well, how would you want to be treated? What if you said something stupid? You want everybody, you want everybody to jump on board and tear you apart? You want to be in isolation like that? Because that is a bully mentality when we go into that. And it's not even just one bully. It's like we're all the gang of bullies, So then that shows more about us. Like we should all be allowed to say and do stupid shit sometimes. And, when somebody keeps saying and doing stupid shit over and over and over, and if you don't like it, don't try and change them. Just, you don't have to hang out with them. You don't have to go and be a part of it. You can have boundaries and say, well, you always have yourself in these messes. And we've talked about it about 10 times. Every couple of weeks, we got the same mess going on. So, I don't know. You're going to have to figure it out on your own. I feel like we've beat this like a dead horse. Like, I don't think that we need I have nothing new to offer you. I'm giving you all I got. You're draining the fuck out of me. So, yeah, you can, be honest. You don't have to be mean. Don't be passive aggressive. So many people rely on being passive aggressive when they don't want to deal with their boundaries. And so they just become kind of a little bitter and mean. And so, really notice that in yourself, because that's not the kind of energy you're going to want to be putting out, because it's going to come back on you. So the more that you can be forthright, the more you can be honest, and the more you can be compassionate and caring, and realize, like, well, put yourself in that position. And I know that's really hard for a lot of people because they, oh, I'd never do that. I'd never say that. I'd never do. But that's not what I'm saying. Put yourself in the position of being like, something that you've done that people didn't agree with. If the whole world would have jumped on board to tear you down, it's like, have compassion about that. Don't be, one of the people that's, curb stomping somebody while they're laying there bleeding. It's just, I think it's a lot more of a, if somebody's being curb stomped, it's, go over and give them a kerchief, but then you don't want to be sucked into their games and stuff too. So you go hand them one and they're trying to grab you in, then you got to pull back. You got to say, hey, I can give you this, but that's all I got to give you, and well, you're not doing enough. That's not enough for me. It's like, well, that's what I got. So if it's not enough for you, then you probably need to find somebody who is. Like, but see, there's so much toxicity where people don't go to that thing. No, they want to try and change this person to be what they want, especially because you look like the person I like. You fit all the parameters of what turns me on. You're my type, but I've been people's type. And, you can be their type physically and not at all mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And they can be really focused on the physical and not, then the rest of you needs to change to transform into fitting in the bill of what they think this type would be like. It's like, that's not, I can't be that. I can't be that. I'm this. And if you can't appreciate this, then really, what are we doing here? And that's where we got to get more too. Of like, if we're not in alignment, we don't need to force each other. We don't need to sit there battling it out. You need to do this. You need to do that. No. It's like, why do we want to be stuck in that kind of energy, trying to control other people and make them be what we want them to be? Why not be like, well, I'm going to learn what I can from you, and then I'm going to go out into the world and then see what comes next. And every time you do that, it's like you're raising the bar, you're raising the bar, you're raising the bar. Every time you're taking yourself from here and you're moving yourself up here. Otherwise, you're just staying down here in the battle zone. But every time that you are able to walk away, and I'm not saying, because there's people who fear intimacy, and I'm not saying that, well, that's what you need to do is just walk away from everybody. Don't ever put yourself out there. Keep yourself distant, keep yourself guarded, you're creating your own prison then, so, you're going to get what you put out, you create a prison, then nobody can get in, then, you're in there alone, and it's going to be a lonely prison, and so, so you don't want to, keep yourself where nobody's good enough. Everyone's going to fail me. Then you got to look at, well, why am I carrying this wound? Why would I think everybody's going to fail me? And you're only looking at what's wrong in the world and what's wrong with them and what's wrong with them, It's just, oh my God. Hold on. Oh my God. It's like a slice and dice in my throat. So, oh God, that hurts. Oh my gosh. That is so weird when that happens. Oh, fuck. So, anyways, I'm about done anyways. But you can see what I'm saying. It's way more about, learning how to love yourself, I'm telling you, because then you don't have to try and pressure somebody else into loving you enough to feel okay. It's like, I mean, it's obvious when you see who, especially when you see the original, and what, it's like, she was insecure and not happy with herself. She did a lot of work on herself, but it was all on the outside. And, and then, you want to be, it's weird too, yeah, because then it's like, I'm not pretty enough. It's like, no, you have got a personality disorder. You have too high expectations. You got too much. You're draining the life out of everyone around you because you need everybody to make you feel better. You need everybody to do what you need them to do. So life feels good for you. It's like, no, you got to, there's a give and take. And when you are in a healthy relationship, you, like I've said before, you have to find your own balance to be in a healthy relationship so you can go to the next balancing. And when you get into a relationship that you want to be a healthy relationship, there's a give and a take. There's a balance. It's not you just take. And then you looking for somebody who's just going to give. Because when they're giving and giving and giving, they're going to build resentment. And there's going to be tension. And the taker becomes more toxic and more toxic because they're just taking it and they feel like it's their right or something. Like, they have every right to be this way, every right to think this way, and it's all about them. So they become more toxic. That is if you don't have the balance, it goes too heavy one way or the other, and it's a battle zone. You push and pull and push and pull instead of this sinking into balance. And everybody's got to find their own. It's not like I can give one key word and that's going to fix it. You've got to find your own. What is important to them? What's important to me? How do we find to meet in the middle and to keep the steering, so we're not weaving and, weaving through life and ditching and dodging and stuff. You want to find, a bit, I swear to God, it's such a big thing to learn how to make yourself happy. And learning how to make yourself happy has so much to do with learning how to love yourself. I'm telling you. So, anyways, let's look at that here. And my B12 gets there today, so I'm going to be starting that. And I have a bunch of stuff coming. Because there's also these deodorizer pills. So now I see tons of these videos. And I don't know if I've already said this, but there's, I think I did, because the chlorophyll. And so, chlorophyll pills, so they're body deodorizing pills. And so in other countries, that's what they use. They don't use deodorant. We use deodorant because it's got aluminum and chemicals and stuff, and you can absorb a lot of stuff through here. Because even think about this, is when a kid has a temperature, where are you supposed to put the cold things? Right here, because they're going to absorb or cool off. So this is a place, you would know just because the moisture and the warmth and stuff inside there, that something's going on there. And so you have a lot of absorption. And so they have us putting on, I haven't worn deodorant in so long, but I've never been somebody who had a lot of stank on me. It was stench or something. I've never been a big BO person or whatever. I know some people do have a lot of body odor, but that is not you. And body odor, it is toxins coming out of you. And that is the smell is the toxins coming out of you. And so in other countries, they use this body deodorizing pill, which has chlorophyll in it. And then you take that, which it gets rid of all of the, like the bad bacteria or something. It gets the stuff out of you that causes the rot inside of you to cause the stank. And so you want to, it's like the more natural thing. So anyways, I've got those coming too. And they say like, your farts don't stink, nothing. No smell comes out of you once you have these pills in other places. So I don't know, other people in other countries, I guess, they can go around just farting and stuff. I think in America, we're full of bad bacteria. Or, I mean, when the lab people or doctors or whatever are coming out and saying like, all the good bacteria is gone out of us, and it's like we're just working with the bad bacteria. Well, these other people, they've got better balance, so they don't have that. So yeah, we're a stinky problem over here in America. But it's not it's not us. It's not like we're stinky. It's the toxins. We're being poisoned to death, and we gotta wake up and get our shit together and see. But anyway, so those on Amazon, body deodorizing pills, you can look them up, or wherever you buy your stuff. So, anyways, if you got in it, so it does something about putting things back in balance, and chlorophyll plays some part, which is funny because, they told us don't let your dogs eat grass. That's so bad. Well, it's chlorophyll, and that they need it. That's unless I'm getting confused and it's a word that's similar, but I swear to God, it was that when I had seen where they said no, dogs eat grass for the chlorophyll because they need it in their system, and so it's something that we all need. And my dogs don't stink. Well, Stella's got the vagina issue, but I got some yeast pills I'm going to try on her and see if it's not some kind of yeasty thing. Because if it was something serious, like it's been going, it could have something to do too with her hip dysplasia. Because before she's had like the stinky kind of smell, but it was the anal gland thing. But I don't think she has that. I think it's I don't know. I kind of feel like it's like she can't get back there and clean it well because she's so big, and probably bears and stuff stink. Probably lots of big big cats and stuff kind of stink. But I don't know. I guess it depends on your flexibility, how well you can clean it. And then I still don't know if she has that thing that they told me when she was little, like kind of like a pocket. So when she pees, it doesn't all, it's like there's an area that it kind of sticks in there and it's going to kind of get stinky and bacteria. But I have that apple cider vinegar that I had made for spray. So I spray that so she can help clean it because the apple cider vinegar does a lot of good stuff. Like if you've got problems down there cleaning with apple cider vinegar, but you got to use water too because it's pretty spicy and it will burn you. So, anyways, but so I'm gonna try these yeast pills on her and see what that happens about that, and then keep doing my apple cider vinegar, spray it so she can clean it and get it more clean. But anyways, so we do have new stuff coming, and I will talk more about. I can't remember it all, but I know the chlorophyll pills, or the body deodorizing pills, the yeast pills for her, the B12, and oh yeah, I was switching off some stuff into like lutein. I was getting the pills because that's eye vitamins. I was getting pills, but now I'm switching to a powder and like a powder supplement. And there was a few other things I can't remember. But anyways, I'll talk about them when I see benefits and stuff. So I'll give a real honest thing. I won't lie about it. So, but it's still, even if it works for me and I say I love it, you don't go and do something and it's not working for you and then keep doing it. Well, you got to decide. Just like, I just bought the hair stuff again, but I'm making a decision. Like, okay, maybe it's working. Like, I can give it a few months and see it. This would be 5. And I was thinking, okay, I'll do 6 months. And then if I'm not just loving it. And but I want to see if the B12, zinc, magnesium, whatever the ones are, I can't remember now, the 4 things that affect your hair. I know mine was B12 and zinc, and then 2 other ones, but I forgot. But anyways, I've talked about them a week or 2 ago. But but if those start working good, like my whole thing, why my hair is falling, oh God, it's radiation too. But if my hair has been falling out because of, but it also can be hormones too. So you got to get your hormones in balance. But see, that's where you got to figure out your own stuff. And that's where you got to try all these different things and see, well, does this work? How, and and I mean, I don't know. A lot of people try something for like a week or 2 and then they're like, well, it didn't work. It didn't do anything. Well, how do you know? Maybe you need to build up on it. Because my mom has been having horrible, horrible muscle cramps. And I was like, you got to take way more magnesium. And she's like, well, I thought I was taking enough. It's like, I don't know if you're having muscle cramps. And so you have to figure your stuff out. You got to see what you need, what works. So you can't just be like, well, it works for her, so it's going to work for me. No, because we're all a different made up chemistry. We're all our own unique chemistry. So you have to be your own chemist. And you have to figure out what works for you. I can just give you ideas and say, well, I noticed a difference with this. I noticed a difference with that. And that's why I just try and show too. It's not just me saying, like when I say about like my tooth and stuff. I mean, we're watching it together. It's all new to me too. Like, fuck, man. And I'm just, when I get to these med beds, man, I want things to, but it does seem like there's a lot going on. It does seem like things are, we are at the precipice, and we are at the time of change. And I would just say again, everybody be ready for anything to happen. Don't be unprepared. Don't think, well, it sure wouldn't happen here. No flood, no fire, no tornado, none of this would happen here. No, be prepared for anything. And because if you're not prepared, that's when panic sets in. And there's going to be enough panic out there in the world. So you don't want to be a part of that whole issue. So just be prepared. And my mom and I have been talking to, because we're like, well, if it's fire, then we'll do that. If it's this, then we'll do that. And if the water comes up, then it's like, if the water comes up, we'd still be okay. Because right now, the river it's to the top. It's like, fuck, man. They just opened some dams, and all the people along the river's like, she's up. But all those people, there's some fancy-ass houses on the water, all going under. But up here, we would be cut off from roads and stuff. Like, we wouldn't be able to go anywhere. But we would have food, we'd be okay. So that's what I mean, just be prepared for anything. If you're stuck there and you can't get out, or if you have to leave. And I saw one place that got evacuated, but they were only 24 hours. But some, I don't know when you got to come back. Some are coming back and their houses are gone. So that's why you got to be prepared for anything. And whatever you lose, don't forget, you can't take it with you. So you just got to process through loss and put in perspective, and realize, like, well, I was always going to lose it at some point. And something, I'm entering a new chapter. Some good's coming, something. That's why I say always focus on some good's coming, something good's coming. But, if you're real in the downer and the dumps and stuff, and you're in that toxic energy of where nothing good's happening, you got to pull yourself out of it. And, the only way out is in. That's such a true statement. So, anyways, but always the answers to everything is learning how to love yourself, and learning how to love everybody else, and figuring out how to have the day you want to have through focus. And it's through the love, baby. I'm telling you, it's through the love. So anyways, we'll see what happens today. We're going to be expecting any kind of moon thunder or whatever's going to go down. Just, keep it simple. And we'll talk about it some more tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.